Hello, 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 hello. I hope you are well. Welcome to the daily black and orange tarot readings, and on Sunday, extra time added on to answer your astrology questions. I am known as Autumn around here, and I usually take the first 10 or 15 minutes and I gather your questions, and then I spend the rest of the time answering them. If you are in a hurry, and you can, a little while after the live stream ends, I go back and I clean up the questions, and so you can just go into the description box, or you can go down to the pinned first comment, and you can just look through the questions that were covered today. You can just click on the number and go straight to exactly what you're interested in. So I hope that helps you. Everyone here is really friendly. Thank you so much for being so friendly. And we have the best moderators anywhere who have done a wonderful job. They've kept us safe and made this a safe place, safe space, and for months. And I'm so grateful. I am so grateful. Okay, what else? Oh, if you want to talk to me, because everybody's so friendly, if you want to say something directly to me, just put it in all caps in the chat. Otherwise, I'll just assume that you're talking amongst yourselves. People are often supporting each other and discussing things, so that's always a positive. I like that. In the comments below, of course, you can just write normally. But if it's in the chat, and if it's in the chat and it's in all caps, I will assume you're trying to get my attention. If I don't get to your question today, if I don't read on your question, I have to go by my intuition and what's kind of pinging or not or what have you. It is never anything personal. I would hate to hear that you felt like I was, that I would hate to find out I had somehow hurt your feelings. That is never my intention. I don't have favorites. I don't, there's no secret emoji code to put in to get your question in. No, it's nothing like that. So. And lastly, all income that comes into Black and Orange from any source, Patreon, through YouTube, anything, 10% that comes in goes out to feedingamerica.org, which supplies food to food banks across the country. And I make those donations quarterly. And I show you guys the information, and it's on I put it up as a public post on my Patreon page, so yeah, people can end up seeing how much I make doing this, because I want transparency, because I want you to be able to know that I'm not just blowing smoke here. There is money going to this incredibly worthy cause, so we can certainly help out anybody who's hungry. Anyway, okay. There were a couple of astrology questions. I will get to those. I'm probably going to do a number of tarot readings, and then I've got a couple of astrology questions to answer, and then I'll answer whatever other astrology questions you have. Sorry if my voice is a little raspy today, or I've got a little button here. I can actually turn off my microphone for a second, which I might have to do. I ended up with long story short, I ended up moving an air purifier out of a room that I shouldn't have, and I ended up with a face full of dust and dust allergies. So I'll be fine. I'll be fine. All right, it is a rainy day here. It was raining all night, and just how it is. All right, so I'm scrolling back up. Jambo means hello in Swahili. Hello. That's very sweet. Jambo. I am looking for anything in all caps. Uncover. You are on it. You are almost. You are either in like the top, you're either the first question of every day you're here, or second, or third. You are just on it, and I like it. I like it. What will be the event that brings the downfall of the Trump family and organization? Well, I can look again. See if I can get anything more specific than what I've gotten in the past. Okay, that's there. All right. Good morning to lovely peeps. Hello, Sharon. And, oh, Kathy's asking, did Trump declare war on the Klingons? Ah, yes, Space Force. Space Force has put a classified, heaven knows what. They sent a rocket up with all kind of classified stuff in it. It's like, oh, and we do this, and I loved it. And today's launch is in honor of the frontline defenders fighting the illness and frontline workers. And it was like, and they switched off to something else, and it was like, and because that's who we're going to spy on? What? Really? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Sometimes this thing suddenly loads more. YouTube just suddenly loads more comments, and it knocks me down to the end, so I've got to scroll back up. Where was it? Will Barr get in trouble because he... Maria, what do you mean wants to scape? Oh, scapegoat. Burr. Oh, this is going to be a fun one. Barr and Burr. Oh, I'm sure this couldn't possibly go wrong if I try reading about Barr and Burr in the same reading. I'm sure I'll get it right. I'm sure I'll say those names right every time. Yes, that is a Bailey Boo, Snoozy Bailey Boo kitty. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Okay. Scrolling down. Okay. Oh, no. Are we? Keisha's asking, are we being told the truth about the illness and the lives lost? I'll add it to the list. For what it is worth, I haven't gotten that it's going to be an amount that is basically more a matter of not testing than people trying to change numbers or that sort of thing. But I'll add to the list. What is the difference between the Air Force and the Space Force? Air Force goes up to a certain altitude, and then Space Force is basically Space Force is kind of taking parts of the Air Force away to do their own thing. Will we find out if 45 has pilfered our treasury? Marie, we already know he has, because the Secret Service has paid his companies, last I heard, $970,000 for room rentals and things like that. As far as like going to, robbing the treasury directly, I don't think so, but they've absolutely been getting friends to, giving lucrative contracts to friends, and they get business from that, and there's all of the emolument stuff, and it just goes on and on. Yeah, he's a crook. He's a con man. We know that. Okay, Janice is saying all the beaches will be open for Memorial Day. Will the illness continue to spread? Have a look at that. Okay, let me see. Will Trump be impeached twice? Sharon, I've read on that several times. I had a very clear message on that, which was no. Nancy Pelosi's not going to waste her energy on that. She's she's focusing on it wouldn't do any good. Him being impeached twice would just be a political footnote. It wouldn't change things. But if she is organizing the committees to go after more records, look into potentially illegal stuff, she should have more luck in weakening, if not him, then his henchmen. So every time I've read on that, I've gotten the same answer, and it's a strong no. Where is Pence? Kathy N. Is Burr a Burr under bars? Rear end. That's cute. That's cute. Well, it wouldn't. Well, I guess so, because he was the Russia report, and of course, all Renfield Bar cares about is, is the master happy? Is there something I can do to please the master? And yeah, there were some comments. Somebody said something. Is either him or I wish I could remember the details, but somebody in relation to Renfield Bar, Bill Renfield Bar, made some kind of reference to flies in passing, and it was like, oh, fly, there you go. It's your protein source, isn't it? Okay, Love Mother Earth. Mystic Bella read on hackers, same info on what you came up with. Icky. Oh, goodness, really? Thank you for letting me know about that. I'm still inherently skeptical of anything that sounds too good to be true, or but the cards are very clear, and the energy's there. So okay. Will Obamagate gain any traction? Sharon, I've read on that too, and basically what I got was no, because they're going to be very, very busy, because there's something coming out, or multiple somethings coming out. Yeah, that's all of these diversionary tactics the GOP wants to run with. They're not gonna have time. Okay, sorry, scrolling up. Okay, Kathy's asking, build a space academy. I understand. I love the Federation too, Kathy. And there may be a space academy eventually, but not yet. Right now, they're just going to use it for all the nefarious intelligence gathering, and maybe some weaponized satellites. Yay. Sharon, saying thank you. You're welcome. Jean is asking, will Barr have to testify in front of Congress? Oh, that's a good question, because the Congress wanted him to, and they said no. Okay, there's that. Sorry, I got some tea here. Obama was great last night. I agree, Janice. That was wonderful. Oh, thank you, Alice. I'm not getting that it'll gain traction. And sure thing. Thanks again. Posted Mystic Bella in your chat from the 15th. Thank you. Thank you, Mother Earth. Appreciate it. Okay, is that Space Pirates? Oh, that's coming. Okay. All right, I think that's what I've got here. So, all right, let me get the old cards out. Do a little Morgan Greer. Okay. Let me unplug that. Maybe it'll be quieter. I think Burr is very sick. He looks horrible. Well, he is horrible. Yeah, people talk about his health. I don't know. Maybe it's just because he has so much power at the moment and he so misuses it, and he is so pushing his own ideology, and he's not a literal legal traitor, but he is a traitor to everything we hold dear in America. So that I never pick up on his health. I just don't. I think I'm busy picking up on all the other ick. Yeah. Oh, Maria's. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so we are at 16. Let's start at the top. Okay. Let's say 1630. What will be the event that will bring the downfall of the Trump family / organization? Oh, speaking of the Trump downfall, did you guys see Eric? Oh, he went on Fox News and said that the Democrats are holding up reopening just to hurt Eric's father, of course, and that they're doing it so that Trump can't go to rallies because because Biden isn't capable of doing anything. I don't know if he said he was capable of doing anything more than being in his basement. There was a basement mentioned. And that's been their thing. And then he said, you'll find right after the election that he said the illness, the name of it, it's just going to magically disappear. Yes, Boo Boo Kitty does look peaceful. He's such a sweetheart. He's just a little cupcake. What's going to cause the downfall of the Trump family? What event? Is there an event? Is there a specific? All right, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to sit here with the cards for a second. Oh, sit straight. All right, Trump family. What is Obi-Wan Kenobi's line in the original Star Wars movie? Never will you find a larger hive of villainy. Whatever that line was. Okay. So, fall of the House of Trump. Becoming president was, yeah, that was kind of the beginning of the end. That's what I'm getting. All right. And then I'll tilt the camera down. Boo Boo looks like he poured himself into his bed. Yes. Hang on just a second. All right, wait, not down. Oh, there we go. You're a good boy. Yes, you are. Good boy. Okay. Well, look at that. I said it's becoming president that was the problem. And look, it's the Emperor card. Which is how Trump sees himself. Okay. Two of Pentacles. I'll hit Trump's money problems. And naively going to places that very openly launder money to get money from that. Three of Cups in the center. Okay, so it started with the Two of Pentacles, then there's the Page of Pentacles, Three of Cups, Ace of Wands, and Four of Wands. And the question is, with the Emperor as the signifier for the, I don't know, signifier. It's more the card for the reading. What is the event that's going to bring down the Trump family or what have you? And what it feels like is that there's so much. This is just bringing the spotlight to it, but it's where he was getting his money. It's his own financial ineptitude. It's where he naively, stupidly, arrogantly went and got money. It's his carousing. It's his carousing and his temper. And all the nefarious deals done and people have come in and out of Mar-a-Lago. There's no one thing. It's just all. One of the questions today in the astrology, one of the astrology questions was, what, with all the planets, with so many planets going retrograde, how is that going to affect Trump? What areas of his life? And the whole thing of the retrogrades are pretty normal. You know, as we go around the sun, planets that are farther out and don't move as much, they're, you know, still not there, but we're going around the other side, so it looks like they're moving backwards and all this anyway. Retrograde is what is old will be seen again. If you have a Venus retrograde, you're most likely to hear. That's when you're most likely to hear back from an old flame. If you when Mercury's retrograde, this is relevant. This is relevant to this. When Mercury's retrograde, it's a little different in that it's more like well, in all of them, it really dampens that forward momentum. It really just pulls back, like you're about to walk out the door, but then you stop in the doorway and you're like, oh wait, and you take a couple of steps back and you're like, where are my keys? Did I get my keys? Does the cat, food? Okay, all right, I got it. I've checked everything. All right, I'll go forward now and out the door. With so much going retrograde, the likelihood of Trump's past stuff coming back gets higher and higher and higher. With every planet that goes retrograde, he has so much card of corruption and emotions, and also disgusting Trump's energy grossing up my cards again because of liquids. I'm leaving that alone. He has so much in his past that could come back and bite him. So there may not be one thing. Jupiter going retrograde could make him too confident. Usually Jupiter's an outward confidence. But retrograde, anything retrograde, it becomes kind of internal and it pulls back. Well, but you've still got that optimism and that I can do whatever, so, does his head get bigger? Secrets of Mar-a-Lago. I like it. I like it. Goodness, it is dark and it is raining again. Money. Ace of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles. The Fool. Page of Swords. Five of Cups. Six of Pentacles. Well, we know that the excuse for a charity he was forced to give up. Wow. But this is when Trump was disappointed. Basically, I've got money. Ace of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles, these are the Republicans who fight for Trump. And quite often this is also Junior. Wow, that is some rain. There is the Fool, that's Trump. The Page of Swords, that's how Trump sees himself. These are his delusions about who he is and what he's capable of. He's a bully like he was when he was at the military school. But disappointment and this is a card of disappointment. This is a card of, well, it's usually a card of generosity. It can be a very meager amount being given. Really, what I'm not getting, it's how he lives his life. There's so much that's just sitting there on the deck, and right beneath that is this is his decision. These are the decisions he made. He acted, he did, that have caused huge emotional upset and trouble and howling at the moon. Meanwhile, the countrymen are suffering. Oh, look at this, is like walking me through it. His base still loves him, but a lot of people are really heartbroken because we see him as a thief inside the government. Anyway, that was fun. I like when it does that. All right. I'm not getting any one thing. I think there are multiple things. But what's going to come out or come up maybe this summer? That's, all right, what May 27. What's the worst? I cannot spell. I can't actually. It's more like I can't type. What's the within these nails? What's the worst thing that will come out about Trump before the election 2020? Okay. Okay. So what I'm asking here, let me shuffle. Since we're talking about Trump, we're talking about, you know, the ghosts of Trump's mistakes past. What's the worst thing that's going to come out about Trump between now and the election? Oh, wow, that's a cesspool. Yeah, I just got that energy, and that's, ugh, I need a shower. It's like a weird gunmetal gray energy. You know, usually his gunk is brown. This is, let's see here. What's the worst thing that's going to come out about Trump between now and the election? Which thing? Which one? Not election, which thing? There are so many. Getting two cards here. That's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. There's nothing to see here. And they're both pages. Wands and Cups. Card for the reading. I'll just put that over there. Judgment. 4 of Cups. 10 of Pentacles. Knight of, whoops, Swords, sorry. 7 of Wands. Trump on the defense. swords are what I get. The swords are air signs like Gemini and what have you. I get swords for investigators, and these are very active investigators. I'll get something like the King from like Mueller, and then I'll get the Queen for sort of higher level. But Knight of Swords is actively, really actively going after. This is the Trump dynasty right in the middle. But Judgment, Four of Cups, it can be about, it's basically, traditionally what this card is you're being offered something and you're turning it down, basically. Like in the Housewives deck, where you've got the 3 empty cups, but then the 4th one is huge and full, and someone's trying to hand it to you, and the woman's like, "Okay, no thanks. I'm good," because she's already had 3, you know. He's offered a deal, something about that. Unfortunately, I'm also getting a completely different feeling off of this card that has to do with plying people with alcohol. Judgment, poor judgment. Anyway, yeah, I'm leaving that alone and I'm walking away. Oh, I'm walking away. Okay, next question. 32. Oh, Barr and Burr. Oh, here we go. Renfield. I'm just going to call him Renfield. Renfield and Burr. Okay? Renfield and Burr. Will Renfield get in trouble because he wants to scapegoat Burr? Does Renfield have anything to do with the FBI investigation into Burr, or does Trump? Is it? I think the question is really, are they letting it go forward where they would normally step in, or because the others were investigated as well. Basically, is Burr? I guess I should retype this. Is Burr not getting off scot-free because Trump is mad at him? Because normally you would want someone in his position of your own party, head of his intelligence committee, isn't it? You'd want that person on your side. Renfield. So is Burr basically not getting away with the same things like Manafort and Flynn and Stone, at least so far? I don't think that'll last, but for now. Is Burr getting hammered, basically, legally hammered, because Trump's mad at him and isn't having Barr or what have you intervene? Or maybe it's just while the FBI is investigating, and then when it comes to the DOJ for some kind of prosecution, that's when Barr steps in, Renfield steps in and says, "Gosh, I'm too busy sitting here eating flies off of my windowsill." But do you have a message? But would you take a message to the master? He wants to talk to Trump more. He wants to be in his presence. And it's funny because then he showed up at one of the pressers, and he was just standing there, and he looked like he was bored out of his mind. It's like, ah, yes, Renfield's look of love. Burr's in trouble. Oh, yeah, Burr's in trouble. Yep, that energy's right there. Not a good move. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm asking Salome about if he's in Trump's bad graces. And that's why he's not getting a get out of everything free card. That's his foot hanging out of the box. Those are his little toes. Just cute little kitty toes. King of Swords. Investigators. Oh, head investigators. Okay. Knight of Wands, Six of Cups, Three of Wands, the World, he's done. The Chariot, he's done. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Burr. Bye, Burr? Bye, Burr. Yeah. That's a big ol' exit stage, whatever. He has done some things to try to protect the president. They had a relationship, but this is what you he did the crime, allegedly. He made those trades with insider knowledge that wasn't, or knowledge that wasn't public. And so it doesn't matter if there was a time when Trump got along with him. He did the thing. Okay. But I'm not really feeling Trump here at all. Other than maybe, Burr has towed the line to an extent, but not completely. Yeah, but he's done. I don't know. I'm not getting Barr at all. I'm not getting that. Well, maybe DOJ will step in later. No, this is Senator Burr. He's done. Kaput. Zippo. Arrivederci. Was he not leaving anyway? Yeah. But if he could have done a lot between now and next January. So, Barr is behind all of this. All right, well, is Barr behind all of this, Janice is asking? Is Barr behind all of this? I think it's the journalists bringing the stuff out, but is Barr behind all of this is Renfield behind all of this with Burr? White Dragon is asking, is Trump planning a scorched earth policy if he loses? I have read on that many times, and I get the same. Well, no, I have been reading that recently. That's what I should focus on. Yeah, what I'm getting is he was not going to be able to. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you. He's not gonna. For some reason, he's not going to be able to. There's definitely been some discussion about Burr amongst the Trump people. Nine of Cups. This is business interests. Ace of Wands. Someone taking action. Nine of Wands. In this deck, this is all the Republicans who stand to protect Trump. Knight of Pentacles. This is like Junior and other people who will go out and fight for the Orange Fiora. And then Two of Wands, which is communications. They've talked about him. It's pretty straightforward, though. They have talked about him, which is what that is. This is taking action. This is a merchant. So basically, it was the trading. Republicans, for the most part, have stood with Trump. He can complain about, one report or whatever, but he's been fairly loyal. And then, but, there's a higher bar that you can't just quietly not disagree. You have to actively agree that Trump is the be-all and end-all of all creation, Blech. And this is communications, communicating. So two of Wands. So I think some journalists got them. I think some ethics investigators got them. And Burr's just, they've got the goods on him. He's done. I mean, really done. So that's, I'm getting with that. Okay, 40, 41. Okay, let's look at Memorial Day. Okay, let's look at Memorial Day. Will the illness spread? Okay. Yes, the thumbs up actually do really help. Thank you. Okay, do Memorial Day in the U.S. And the spread of the illness. Stay home. Every time I read on this kind of thing, I get the same message. Clear as a bell. Stay home. Don't do it. Stay home. Seriously, could your, on the other side, could they have made it any clearer? Stay home. King of Wands, that's Trump. There's actually, I saw yesterday that, have you guys seen that disgusting video of those people protesting for reopening who were harassing that journalists? And at one point there was a big burly guy there being, a big meathead. And the guy said, back up, or stay away, or something about his mask. And the guy literally said, I'm fine. I have hydrochloroquine. I think that's it. He's like, I have that. I'm fine. It's like, oh, wow. You're taking medical advice from a man, as Hillary Clinton said, from a man who stares at an eclipse. Memorial Day. Death card. 10 of Pentacles. 8 of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles. Chariot. I've got 5 cards here. These 5 cards are bookended by 2 major arcana cards, Death and the Chariot, which is the movement of death. Death on the move. We have Trump, who's protected more than anybody else, and he regularly gets tested. And we have the people who go out and, like like Eric today, And then the center is we've got to get our business going. We've got to, this is just trying to convince Republicans to open businesses and go out and what have you. But all of this nonsense allows the death to spread, to move. Big way, capital letters. Minor arcana, the suit cards, these are like these ideas in lowercase letters. The major arcana cards are like in uppercase letters. So yeah, hanging above that, it's going to do a lot of damage. Stay home. Okie dokie. All right, we are at 46 just about. Oh, 46, Pence. Okay, I think we'll do Pence, and then we're going to go on to, I'll go over some astrology stuff. Because I have a couple of charts from the coming election, previous election and the coming election. Just a very simple thing to look at. And then I'm going to show you the easy way, the simple way, to figure out something in a chart. Like, if all of these planets are going retrograde, and I believe Neptune goes retrograde in June, something like that. Oh, that's down here too. How will that affect Trump? Well, you can see. But right now, Mr. Hypocrite, holier than thou while supporting a man who rips children away from their mothers, Mike Pence. Boo. Will Howard Stern release the tapes? I don't know that he has any tapes he hasn't released, has he? It's Barnett, Mike Barnett. It's the apprentice producer who we would like to, I don't know, give him a dose of common sense and decency, and it's those tapes which I'd like to see. Where's Trump in relation to Neptune? I don't know. I think he's more closer to Jupiter. The biggest gas bag. Anyway, Pence. Hi. His energy is such a mess. It twists back in on itself, and he ties himself into knots spiritually. And anything to do with the body is bad, and the dirt of the earth, and you must rise above it, and the constantly asking for forgiveness. Oh, by the way, do you know that he actually believes Jesus talks directly to him? I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. I read tarot cards on YouTube, and I know that's crazy. So Jesus said, yeah, those kids being ripped away from their moms, let's do that. Let's go stand outside that giant pen full of people and not do anything to help them. Good Christian. Gotta be kidding me. It's just awful. So, are you sick? I mean, other than the obvious. Pence. What's going on with Pence world? He sucks up to Trump. Apparently he's terrified of being kicked off the ticket. Ace of Cups. Okay. Four of Cups. Ace of Wands. Two of Wands. Three of Swords. The World. Oh, it's not going to end well for Pence. I wasn't actually asking specifically about the illness. At the center, it's, you know, Pence is the one that's communication. Pence is the one going out there and, you know, when he's allowed to, because he's supposed to be in charge of the response, remember? Yeah, when's the last time we heard anything about that? But he's supposed to be out there communicating for the Orange Fuhrer. He's really wrapped in knots. These, I really only get these kinds of cards with really, really devout people, and specifically because I usually read on Christians, devout Christians. This has to do with seeing the flesh is bad, seeing the, but it's also your duty to create children for the church. And I know he's not Catholic, but he's all tied up in knots inside. And he's supposed to have this job, which he doesn't really have, but his future is the card of heartbreak and then the World card. And anyone who doesn't know, Major Arcana, the topmost card, the highest card, this is 21 is the World. That's the culmination, that's the ending. This is the card you will get, you know, it's something that signifies the like the end of childhood or the end of, you know, sometimes you'll get it if someone is going to be, like a woman's going to be a mother. If it's about her specifically, where her old life is, this is a major turning point. Specific, this is now everything from here on changes, and it's heartache. So, yeah, I think he's caught up in all the garbage. Actually, let me ask, what is this? Is this just that he doesn't get to run for president, or he doesn't get his turn next? Or is it worse than that? Is it, I don't know, actual karma? Boy, he is just, talking to him's got to be a hoot, because his logic is like a Mobius strip. Oh, he's leaving. Lovers, Wheel of Fortune, Sun, 10 of Cups, 5 of Wands. It was great. Trump had his followers in the base and both houses of Congress and all of this, and and Trump learned to, you know, like Pence for a while, but, you know, with Trump, you know, you're up one day, you're down the other. But this is also the Trump administration, because right in the center is the sun, as in things coming to light. A new day is dawning, and I keep getting this card for this. I'm getting this card over and over as a Democratic victory, which then causes a lot of fighting and so. Well, now I'm curious: is this the election, or is this like stuff coming out, and then this is the arguments in like Congress? Let me make sure I've got this right. Because even if when you read on the energy, you've got the energy, but it can be seen from slightly different angles, if that makes any sense. What's going on with the Sun and Ten of Cups? See, and a lot of the cards that I get for communication, something coming out, would also be the same cards I'd get for voting, which is also communicating. Page of Pentacles. We're back here. Him thinking he could handle getting into financial bed with oligarchs. Five of Pentacles. Okay, so what is this about? That's what I'm asking. Five of Pentacles, the Star. Queen of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. People are hurting. So this is not the past. This is not what happened, because this is what's been going on. And to his base, he's still the Star. And there are people trying to protect him. But politically, Trump, that's Trump. So is this before the election or after the election? Is this Ten of Swords, is this Trump before the election or after the election? The Fool. These are court cases. 10 of Wands, 8 of Pentacles, Hermit. Haven't I been getting in my other readings about Trump having to withdraw? Withdraw, go hide at Mar-a-Lago? There's a lot. And then I get withdrawal. And then politically, he's done. That's what I'm getting. I would love to see it actually come to pass. I will be very happy when I no longer have to read on, well, I don't have to, but I choose to, but I will no longer be reading on how do we get rid of Trump. Okay, so it's 1 o'clock here where I am, so let me cover a couple of these astrology things about the coming election, and then how the retrogrades should affect Trump. And I'm going to make this as brief and clear as I possibly can. Do not want to, someone said, you do a good job. Sometimes you inadvertently end up in the weeds. It's like, yes, I know, and I'm not going in the weeds today. No trimming of the verge today. Okay. A couple of interesting things. And all I have to do is look at the colors, the blue or the red. Because since I've started even, talking about astrology and doing this kind of stuff, I have always told you guys that in modern astrology, modern Western astrology specifically, there are aspects between planets. And they can be easier or they can be more difficult. Okay? We love the weeds too. Oh, thank you. Okay, let me see if I put this here, then, okay. When you have aspects between planets, it'll say, okay, because this is 19. Oh, this is Biden's chart. Okay. Doesn't matter. Okay. Don't forget. If free over on Patreon for anybody who doesn't have it. There are cheat sheets like this one that explain what the different symbols are. Okay, so this is not just me just going, oh, you have to know this. No, it's in the cheat sheets. That's Jupiter in Biden's chart. There's a big red line to Mercury out here. And this is what's in this is what will be in the sky on 3rd of November 2020. 3rd of November 2020. All right, so this is, it's called a square because that's at 25. Mercury is also going to be at 25. It's going to be 25 Libra, and this is 25 Cancer. But it's the thicker the line, quite often that means the more exact it's exactly 90 degrees apart or exactly 120 degrees apart, whatever. Generally speaking, the red lines are more difficult and the blue lines are easier. It's easier to deal with the energy. The red lines are, it's more disruptive, more, more difficult. Let's just say that. Okay, so let's look at two charts and just look at how much red and how much blue. Nothing more complicated than that. We're not going to look at planets. We're not looking at nothing strange at all. Okay. Just looked at this. Make sure it's nice and centered. All right, now if you look at this, is what's transiting around Biden's chart on Election Day 2020. All right, and if there are any things in the same place, conjunction, that kind of thing, that shows up. But in general, how much blue do you see? Just in general. Okay, so there's really thick blue here. There's a lot of blue. But there's a lot of planets there. There's that big thing in the sky we've been talking about all year. And there's an energizing, there's blue. There's lots of blue there. Lots of blue. There is a very strong red. There's some red. These are not quite as strong. There's some red, blue. Yeah, good and bad. Comme ci, comme ça, you know? Yeah, right? So, all right, that much blue, that much red. Okay, so in theory, the energy that will be activated will be a part of Biden's energy on Election Day. There's both red and blue. Okay, got that? Trump, this coming Election Day, his transit chart looks like this. Who do you think's going to have a better day? Just based on that simple thing. Like in politics, Biden's on the left, Trump is on the right. So, Biden here, Trump is over there. Red is more difficult. Blue is easier. Yeah. I don't think it's, I wouldn't want to be Trump on that day. That's a whole lot of red. That's a whole lot of red. So it isn't that, this kind of comes down to, the old adage about you don't have to outrun the bear, you just have to outrun the person next to you, which is terrible and awful, and but in just as a principle of what you need to do, not as far as throwing somebody, making sure somebody else gets hurt, but Biden's chart doesn't have to be extraordinary. His transit chart doesn't have to be extraordinary on Election Day if his opponent's is really bad. So it will be a fight. So I wanted to show you guys that. Now, next thing I thought was, well, hang on a second. What about, what does that mean? You know, maybe let's have a look at the last presidential election in 2016. Hang on a second here. Oh yeah, that's Trump now. I'll just put this here. We'll get to that in a second. Here we go. 2016. This is both set for the 8th of November, 2016. Hillary was born in Chicago. Trump was born in New York. I'll just do it this way, because I think you need to see it. You need to jump to you being able to see both circles. On election day, in 2016, these were their transit charts. Kind of much of a muchness, isn't it? It's one of the reasons it was so hard to call that election. How much blue is there? How much red? Well, maybe Hillary on the left here has a bit more blue. Maybe, but she's got a little bit more red. Yeah, so this is, So this is what happened in 2016. And very quickly, this is what it looks like for 2020. Whoops. Oh, falling. Okay. So, Biden on the left, Trump on the right. So once again, so that is one way to, even if you don't really know astrology, if you can pull up a chart, if you can find a chart, you can just glance at some things and be like, oh, okay. It's more stressful, it's less stressful. All right, so I just wanted to show you that really easy thing to look at. Now, can you go into much more depth? Of course. The nodes factoring in, yes. I mean, all kinds of things factor in. But I just wanted to show you that simple way of looking at it that says, election day 2020 looks like it would be a pretty difficult day, a more difficult day for Trump than Biden. Take of that what you will. I am not the kind of astrologer who I don't I'm not huge on saying exactly this is what's going to happen. I'm trying to understand it. Is it just red tends to be more difficult at blue, these lines, these aspects between the planets. And so you want, if you put, your chart up there and someone who you're interested in romantically, that's not a place you want red. It might be thinking, yes, red like hearts and Valentine's Day. No. Red is stress and imbalance of energies and overloads and yeah. So it's pretty straightforward. All right. And then we will quickly go through this because I want to show you guys so you don't have to, you can better understand what, here, put that there for a second. So you can better understand when astrologers are talking about kind of what's going on or what's going to go on or whatever. All right. The reason that I made this for you guys, and again, it's free. It's over on Patreon, completely free. is because you can use this. So let me just show you an easy way to use this. So if you're thinking, okay, well, people keep talking about all these retrogrades, okay? And retrogrades are unusual in that normally it's like transits are the closer in planets are personal. The ones that are farther out, they move so slowly. It's more generational. It's slow. It's rare. But not retrogrades. Retrogrades, I want to say like Venus is in retrograde like 7% of the time to us. Mars is in retrograde like 9% of the time. Mercury, I think, is in retrograde 19% of the time. But you start going out to Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, whatever. We're talking 40% of the time, 48% of the time. It happens a lot. So the fact that it's just the fact that there's so many planets going into retrograde at the same time, including the more rare ones like Venus. That's what matters. So it does matter. So then you go, okay, well, what does it mean? How's it going to affect? Like this is Trump's transits. Okay, this is Trump's chart right here in the middle. Trump himself. And then this orange are on the side. These are the transits. This is where the stuff up there is in the sky right now. Okay. We're looking for these little tiny R's. I don't know if you can see it. It's just little tiny R's right next to the planet symbol. That means it's retrograde. That means that from our perspective where we are, it looks like it's going backwards. And what that is it's a pulling in of that energy. It's a backtracking of that energy. It's taking a few steps back and making sure you got your keys and did I leave that stove on and the cat has food okay, and or whatever, in whatever area of life that is, and then going, oh, okay, and then moving forward again. So I'll get out the. I'm glad Trump doesn't use this Sharpies that look like this one, because oof, I would hate to do anything he does. Okay, so what planets are in retrograde? I've got these here. Let me just write this in quickly. Oh, sorry. Just bump the camera. Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto, and it's kind of hard to see, but up here at the top, Venus. Okay. Okay, so those four. These three here, and that one there. And in June, I believe Neptune is going to go retrograde as well. So maybe next month or so, Neptune. We'll just add it in, because it's not going to move very much in the next month. It's Neptune. It's the last of the actual major planets. It's yeah. It's slow. Okay. So these are the planets we know are going to be in retrograde. Okay. So so there we've got, well, let's just start with the red elephants in the room. Better yet. If you look at the sheet that I gave you guys, I think this will be easier. There are these wedges called houses, and different houses control different things. They look, these different aspects of life. Okay? So let's look at down here. You can see there's a 5 right there, and you can see the lines for for that wedge, for that fifth house. Okay, Saturn, not sure, might be in the sixth house, but for right now, we know that Jupiter and Pluto are retrograde in his fifth house. Okay, so what does that mean? Okay, here's the fifth house right here. Fifth house. It is what you create, and it's also fun. I love. It's ruled by. It's the house. It's the house of Leo. It's the house of kings, and it's ruled by the sun. But the house of kings, you can think about what are a lot of things kings are about. They're about children, heirs. Fifth house rules children, and let's face it, through most of history, kings have also been about having way too much free time. Not always, but most of the time. If anybody had free time, it was the king, who was gambling in the court, who was listening to music, having plays performed just for them. Traditionally, that's the kind of stuff you get in the fifth house. And I found this online, and there are various versions of this. I have not made my own, but it's fifth house, and then it'll list some extra things. If you have a fling, mistresses, that's fifth house. If you actually get married, that's a whole different house. But mistresses and being spoiled, and yeah. Fifth house, children, creativity. It's what you create, be it children or art. Romance and love, it's more like the fling type. Affairs, yes. Speculation, yes. Gambling, yes. Amusement and sports. Okay. So, what's happening? Okay, so now that we know that, that's the fifth house. It's what we create. And it's also how we have fun. All right, creating fun. Just use keywords. Totally, seriously, go with the keywords. All right, so we're talking about Pluto. This is talking about a life and death transformation for Pluto. My experience with Pluto is because Pluto rules. That's Pluto. It rules the eighth house. It is about power. It's very much about power. Is this available? No, this is just something. There are various ones of these online. Just houses, meanings of the houses. This is just one I happen to find. A lot of them are just out there. Just a Google search. It's really easy. So Pluto's about power. It is absolutely about death and rebirth and cutting down anything that doesn't have deep roots as it plows through. But it's also about that intensity, that moment of life and death, that moment when you are stripped bare with your, I don't want to use that word, someone you love, let's just say that. It's this power. Pluto also rules plutonium. And you can use plutonium to either warm the kitty toes warm 1,000 kitty toes, or you can choose to turn it into a bomb and make the place uninhabitable for man and beast for 10,000 years. Up to you. So we're talking about serious power. Okay, so Pluto here. So the sense of power. Okay. It's the Pluto, and then Jupiter, which looks like a 4. Jupiter is about expansion. Think of it. It's the biggest planet. It's a giant gas bag. It really is. It's got to be. I mean, it's fortuitous. It's great. It's pleasant. It's outgoing. It's open-minded. It's Jupiter up here. Optimism, luck, expansion. It's ruling the house of travel and law. What's over the hill over there? Higher education. It very much expands. And it's very positive. The problem is it can promise more than it can deliver, and it can use that jovial nature by definition. Jove is the base of jovial. It can use that jovial nature to deceive, but generally speaking, it's it's great, fabulous, right? That optimism and expansion. Well, that's the other thing he has, retrograde. Okay, so and let's think for a minute. So this is not only just optimism, but it's also Jupiter. Of all the planets, Jupiter rules law. Not necessarily justice, but certainly that higher education kind of law. Okay. So let's put it together. We're just going to look at the Jupiter and Pluto, okay, are in this planet. So let's brainstorm. This could be about children. This could be about his children. If it's 5th house. Hello, dear. How you doing? You all right? How are you, sweetheart? Hello, good boy. Okay, 5th house is children. Could be affairs. You know what? I'm just not gonna. It could be speculation. Yeah, I guess it could be speculation in the sense of a business deal. You know, I'm not going to put gambling just because we know that Trump's a terrible gambler. He's awful. He's absolutely awful. Hence all the bankruptcies and everything. But anyway, so this pulling back, Jupiter optimistic Jupiter is walking through a very fun, let's call it a house, let's call it a room. Let's say this is the room of where there are children's things and, you know, some messages from your naughty side piece or whatever, and you're planning on this is a fun room. This is what you create. This is how you enjoy yourself, right? Well, Jupiter passing through that would be like, hey, it is party time. Let's go, you know, optimistic. Let's create more, do more. This is awesome. This is fantastic. But Jupiter's moving along and suddenly screeches to a halt in the doorway before it leaves. Wait. So it takes some steps back and looks around. And then Jupiter, it's not just optimism and expansion. It's also law. And it's taking a couple of steps back and it's looking around. And it's going, okay, did I Did I miss something? Is there something here I need to go over again? Have I looked at that? Have I looked at that? I should look at that again. Yeah, before I step, let me look at this again. Let me do that. And as far as optimism or I mean, that's what Jupiter's doing. Now, how it will affect Trump specifically, this could be the law looking at things again, looking at these areas of his life again. Other things that retrogrades do is they pull your energy in. And so it's a time of reflection. It's a time of finishing old projects when you get retrogrades of whatever kind. And sometimes, for some people who, I don't know, boneheads, when you get big expansive Jupiter, it goes retrograde in their chart, and wherever that is, they internalize all that optimism and they get reckless. Because the outside world is also being affected by Jupiter and is backing up and having a look at things. But inside them, if they choose to take it that way, yeah, because he's not good on the reflection. What he's doing instead is he's internalizing that Jupiter energy. I am the greatest. I am the biggest gas bag ever. I know there's never been a bigger gas bag in our solar system than me. And, you know, that can be the problem with Jupiter in retrograde. Okay. Also, we have Pluto here. Pluto, like I said, is about power. It can be political power. It can be, it's whatever kind of deep, intense power. It can be electrical, political, power behind the throne. Pluto rules Scorpio. Scorpios are notorious for being detectives looking under rocks, but also being the power behind the throne. Well, Pluto was going along, plowing through this fun room, just kicking up the carpet and the boards and just working its way through. But it has reached this far and it just has come to a stop. Before it leaves, before it goes on to something else, it's going, wait. And it's pulling, and you can see, almost imagine it's pulling back the wreckage, kind of falling bits of pieces, and it's pulling back, and it's looking around. And it's power. And it's looking at these things. And so, if Trump was capable of introspection, other than to, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the biggest jerk of all, he would be able to rethink, plan, get ready, consolidate power. Instead, he's Trump. So this Pluto in retrograde is affecting everybody. And other people are pulling back, and the universe conspires, as it were, when it comes to the planets, to bring up things about power, things that weren't dealt with yet. Oh, wait. I didn't finish that. I didn't finish with this. I need to take care of that. And children fair speculation. So Pluto's having another look. And this is a fun house, or it can be like a fairground fun house where you get disoriented and things get really twisted and warped quickly because you have the, you have the emotional intelligence of a goldfish. So when people are talking about, this is, we're talking about retrograde, but this could be anything, to be honest. Whatever planet is anywhere. It's, I think you'll find this interesting. We've got Venus up here. I also have a cat who's pulling, still pulling apart this cardboard box. And I need to stop. 1 second, and then I'll cover this last point. Hey you, just because you're cute. Just because you're cute. No. You are adorable. You are a good boy. Yes, you are. You are a good boy. There you go, sweetheart. This is me picking up the box and putting it over here. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. Venus is up here. Let me see if you can see this. Oh, Kitty's getting down. There we go. Venus is up here. Okay, Venus is what and how you love. Right? She is the goddess of love. Right? Put a big old heart there. What and how you love. Now, here's Venus. And what house is it in? Okay, so it's this big wedge here. Let me make these lines a little stronger so you can see. Hello, precious. How you doing? Oh no, I need the clipboard, dear. but. Okay, I understand. All right. Oops. Okay, that's the 10th house. This wedge. And then right here, that's Venus. So Venus is in Trump's 10th house. And it's going retrograde. It's coming in. Venus is coming through. And the 10th house is the house of status, achievement. Very much status. I mean, that's kind of its big thing. It's Capricorn, the house of Capricorn, which is all about, if you want to, you know, if somebody's got a Wikipedia page with 8 million awards and things on it, it's going to be a Capricorn. You know, there's going to be Capricorn energy in there. I always pick on JB from the group Got7, because if you look at his Wikipedia page, unlike the others, not that the others are sitting around doing nothing, they work hard, but yeah, you go, it's like, oh, you look through, it's fine, and then you, oh, sweetheart, you really do want attention, don't you? Oh, I'll be with you in just a second. I will, I promise. Okay. Oops. Did that save? That did, okay. I'm just trying to make this last point, and then I promise I'll go. What and how you love moving through the house of status. But Venus, it just came along. Remember, it only goes retrograde 7% of the time, and things that are more rare in astrology have a bigger effect. Venus comes along, and then it just suddenly comes to a halt. And it starts stepping backwards. What's unfinished? What hasn't been done? Has that been taken care of? What is going on over here? In this case, it could also be the people who love Trump and give him status. I'm just going to write this sideways. Symbol for Venus. House of status. So as it's backing up, some of his die-hard people are suddenly remembering how much they just love and adore him and hang on his every word. And that's why you've got them out protesting. And they're saying things like, I'm fine, I have bleach, I can inject, or I've got hydrochloroquine or whatever the heck it's called, and whatever Trump says goes, and you're fake news. I mean, they drank the Kool-Aid, they bathed in the Kool-Aid. They are like Venus being born amongst the waves in the giant shell. These guys, it's just a sea of Kool-Aid. So Venus has come along, it's stopped, it's backing up. What's left unfinished? What's left unfinished? Venus retrograde is when you'll get things like poor Blasey Ford having to talk about Kavanaugh, bad relationships, or just old relationships. So it can be very unpleasant, but it's stuff from the past coming back. So that's why we're suddenly, it's the two camps again. All right, so anyway, Neptune in the 7th house of partnership. It just, you can use the basic keywords. You can use the basic keywords. What is this? Okay, the sun is over here. Okay, its sun is your sense of self. Okay, right now the sun is transiting. It's up here. Looks like it's just moved into his 10th house. Any planet that's transiting, okay, the sun is yourself. It's the sun. It illuminates. It's warm. It's moving into this house of Capricorn, career, status, and achievement. Okay, so that's lighting up his sense of career and status and do you understand? You can just keep just plugging in the keywords and getting a sense. So that's it. That's all I've got for you today. But I will be back tomorrow, and I will be reading on your political questions. I think that's it. All right. Whew. Oh, poor kitty. All right, guys, I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Okay? Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow. I'm here every day. Hopefully my dust allergies will get better. All right. Hang in there. And thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Moderators, thank you. Viewers, everybody, thank you. All right. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.